Hello everyone, it is Briximus Prime back for another Star Wars The Black Series video, and today we're going to be looking at my top 22 Star Wars The Black Series figures of 2022. Now, just laying off a couple of rules. Now, this doesn't apply to figures that came out only this year. This is just figures that I personally got this year. So there are some that were purchased from this year that released this year, but there are some that are from a couple years back that. And then obviously there's the archive series and stuff like that. So anyway, let's just get right on into it by starting with the one honorable mention. And now getting into the honorable mention, we have the Star Wars The Black Series Galaxy's Edge 4-pack B1 Battle Droid. Now, the only reason this figure is in the honorable mentions is because I did get that 4-pack from Galaxy's Edge with all the droids in it this year, but this particular B1 Battle Droid is in the honorable mentions because technically I already got this figure on last year's list, and I put it as number 4 or something like that. It was in my top 5. So the only reason this Battle Droid is in the honorable mentions is because I've already shown it off before, even though it is a figure that I did get in a 4-pack where the rest of them are in this list. So anyway, that's the only reason this guy's in there. Other than that, he's a fantastic figure. Like I said, he was in my top 5 from last year. Now getting into number 22. Now this is only because that this is just a figure I got and it's at the bottom of the list because there's nothing remarkable about it. This is the BB unit that was included in that Galaxy's Edge 4-pack, and honestly, he's a neat little figure. I just don't really care about him as much as everybody else that's on this list. Going to 21, we have the Pit Droid. Same kind of situation here. It's a figure that I do like, but it's not as important as some of the figures that are on this list. I do like getting Pit Droids. We don't get them very often. Going into number 20, we have the Andor Shore Trooper. The Shore Trooper here, again, very lovely figure. He's just, a little bit plain, because, we did get a Shore Trooper before in the original Scarif, the Rogue One wave, but I missed out on it. So this was a nice way for me to get him, and again, he's a nice figure. I wanted to make sure he ended up on the list, so here he is. And also getting into number 19, same situation with the Shore Trooper. This is a figure I missed out on in the original release. This is the Black Series Death Trooper, although the Archive Series one. And I was able to pick this guy up, and because I just wanted a Death Trooper. Death Troopers are cool. I finally got him. And the only reason he's so low is because there's other figures on this list that I just liked more. Now going into 18, we have the Archive Series Dengar. Dengar's a great figure, but the problem is his articulation is very, very limited, and even though I really like this character, I would have... The articulation wasn't to my satisfaction, and to remedy that, I wish they included more accessories. Getting into number 17, again, this figure could have also used some more accessories. It's the Gaming Greats Battlefront 2 Jump Trooper, specifically the 501st look. And I like the Jump Trooper. He's nice. It's a clone trooper. You can't go wrong with clone troopers. I just wish he came with blast effects or a rocket launcher or just extra accessories that would have made this guy that little bit better. Again, there's just other figures I liked more than this guy, even though it might be surprising. This is the Archive Series Commander Cody. Again, great character and great figure. I just wish he came with a couple more accessories, maybe some other blasters and everything, maybe an unmasked helmet head, because I feel like he should have been able to remove his helmet. And maybe he should have come with an Emperor Palpatine hologram hand. And anyway, and again, there was just other figures that came with more accessories and had better engineering, and I just personally liked better than this. But I can't be too hard on it because it is an Archive Series figure, so it's an old reissued figure. Going into number 15, we have the Star Wars The Black Series Mandalorian Flamethrower Trooper, or Flame Trooper, whatever. And I like this guy, nice Stormtrooper look, I love the red, he comes with the big flame piece, and he's got his flamethrower, and honestly, it's just everything that I wanted from him. The only thing I would have thrown in would maybe be like a fiery base to put around him, or maybe an alternate flame piece, but that's kind of stretching it. Now getting into number 14, we have the Star Wars The Black Series, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge 4-pack K2 series droid. This is a repaint of the K2SO, only I do like this repaint, and I do like the K2 droid. It's got some nice white paint and everything. Kind of makes it look like some kind of decommissioned Imperial droid that a mercenary bought up and is using as a security, I like it. It really makes the imagination go, and it almost feels like I'm able to mold this character to whatever I want it to be. And I really appreciate having characters like that, where they're just these random characters they just randomly throw out there that are from a background, and you can feel like you can mold them to your own liking. Kind of like army builders, in army builder figures in a way. Going into number 13, we have the Star Wars The Black Series Bad Batch Omega. And yeah, I really like this figure, and I was given this was a gift given to me by Arctic King. Shout out to him. I'll leave a link in the description to his channel. I really appreciate that he gave me this, because now I have the full Bad Batch, as they are right now, and including Crosshair. And I really like the figure. She comes with some nice accessories, and my only issue is that, yeah, I wasn't really willing to pay for the full price for this figure, because it is such a little figure for a big price tag where other figures feel like they're more worth it. So that's the only reason this figure ends up lower, because I wasn't willing to pay for it. I only got it because it was a gift. Now getting into number 12, we've got the Star Wars The Black Series Mandalorian Cobb Vanth. Again, this guy just barely missed the margin for making it into the top 10, but the main reason is because I'm really pissed off that they gave this guy the deluxe $30 price tag when he really should have been more like the $20 range. Like, I understand he comes with a lot of accessories, but there's not enough here to justify paying his giant price tag. There are some figures that are worth the price, but we'll get to them later in the list. Anywho. Moving on to number 11, we have the Star Wars The Black Series Obi-Wan Kenobi show, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And this is particularly the one that we see with his appearance throughout the show the most, I believe. And I like how this guy turned out. I currently don't have the cape on him right now, because I have it on my one of my Luke Skywalker figures who really needed a new cape. And thankfully, this Obi-Wan doesn't look that bad without it. And overall, I think he's a great figure. It's just, he just barely missed the top 10, because I feel like he could have used that something extra that would have pushed me over the edge to really put him above the next figure. And the next figure at number 10, and we're getting into the top 10 now, is the Black Series Mandalorian Paz Vizsla, the carbonized version. And that's the main reason why this figure really pushed me over the top to really put him into the top 10, is because he feels worth the price, because he's big, bulky, has his big old gun. And then the other reason is that metallic sheen really scores him some extra points above Obi-Wan, because it gives him that little extra, that little like extra spice that really adds it up and really makes him go into the top 10. Again, it was very, very close. It was between him and Obi-Wan, and I kept swapping them around, but this is what I ultimately decided. Now moving on to number 9, we have the Star Wars The Black Series Jedi Fallen Order Cal Kestis. I'm really excited for Jedi Survivor, and the video game's going to be great, or at least I'm hoping it will, and this figure really represents one of the games that I absolutely love. I love everything about it, and so this figure kind of represents that. My only problem is this was just before Hasbro started doing the photoreal technology, and so his face does look a little toyetic, kind of doll looking, so I'm a little bit skeptical about how this figure looks. Also, I feel like he could have used many more accessories, even though he does come with the BD1. But again, I do love this figure, and I wanted him in the top 10. He just wasn't as high as I was hoping he would be. Now, moving on to number 8, we have the Star Wars The Black Series, The Mandalorian, Death Watch Mandalorian. So, again, just like I mentioned before with the Battle Droid and some of the other figures before, I love just generic, like, army builder rando characters. And this guy definitely is one of them, because it gives you the chance to kind of mold this character into your own liking, so you can be throwing them in pictures and photography or stop motion. Like, you can just make up a story for them. Not just that this figure is really good, like it actually is good with its posability. I do like him, and because just how much of a clean slate he is. My only issue why he's lower on the list instead of being higher is because his jetpack keeps falling off, and he has kind of a weird trigger finger hand that doesn't really like to hold his gun very well. Now, moving on to number 7, we have the Star Wars The Black Series, Star Wars Battlefront 2, the Umbra Operative, or Umbara Operative as some people have mislabeled it as. But this figure is really cool. Now, he is based on that clone mold where the articulation is a little stiff, but the paint scheme here really, really carries the figure. The paint on this guy looks awesome. I love this deco. He looks like a literal, like, Star Wars Punisher. Like, he looks like Punisher if he was a clone trooper. And I love that. And I loved playing this class with this particular skin exactly in the Phase 2 armor in Battlefront 2. I played this guy all the time in Battlefront. So this guy also has a bit of a, I don't know if it's a nostalgic soft spot, but like I have a soft spot for him because I have played this class with this skin. Moving on to number 6, it's kind of a double because I did double review them and also they're basically the same thing. But this is the Star Wars The Black Series Gaming Greats Republic Commandos Sev and Fixer. I love these guys. I put Clone Commando Boss on my list from last year, and so these two followed suit with the next year. And I really like these guys. Very, very nice figures. Can't wait to get Scorch and finish the squad. And overall, they're just great clone troopers from another one of my favorite Star Wars video games ever. So here they are. Now, here's another figure who barely made it into the top 5. I was really swapping these around, but this is the Book of Boba Fett. Really like this figure. Now, I know not a lot of people were the biggest fans of Book of Boba Fett or the way how this figure looks or this design, but I personally liked the show, and I don't really mind this design that much. He would have gone a little higher in the list if those legs, I think, were handled a little bit better. I think they could have been handled a little better. They are a little wonky. But the overall look of this figure, I still like it. I love Boba Fett. And this is just one of those designs that I really like. But I still do want to get a Return of the Jedi one because I just love Boba Fett that much that I'm willing to own 2 separate versions of him. Now, getting into number 4, we have the Star Wars The Black Series Obi-Wan Kenobi series, Darth Vader. Now, I have been wanting a very nice Darth Vader over the past couple of years, and I did have an older one, but the lightsaber was broken out of the box, and he was a very dated figure. This one is a nice update with a very nice lightsaber, and I do like this one quite a bit, and the Darth Vader, it's Darth Vader. You cannot go wrong with it. He looks cool in poses, he looks good. But the reason why he's not even higher on this list toward like number 1 is because the cape is a little bit unmanageable and kind of a little too big of a cloth piece that it's, again, hard to manage and hard to pose and make it look cool in the right way. Now getting into number 3, we have the Star Wars The Black Series Archive series, Darth Revan. This was my first Star Wars The Black Series figure of 2022, and I knew for sure this guy was going to end up in my list of the year, because I love Darth Revan, I love Knights of the Old Republic. Darth Revan literally is my favorite character from Knights of the Old Republic, and I really like the figure, but the only problem is this guy could have been number 1, or number 2, if he just had better head posability. I swear, the head posability is so irritating on this guy, because they gave him a solid hood instead of the head and hood. Like, there's so many other ways they could have handled it, and I feel like this could have been done way better. But I will say, I do like this figure enough that I do want to get the Jedi Revan figure. And now getting into number 2, we have the Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian Dark Trooper. I love this Dark Trooper. Really great figure. It's accurate, it's got swappable hands, it's got the blaster, nice posability, it came with some blast effects. It's a nice bulkier figure. I love the posability. The glossy black looks really good, a lot of mechanical detail. Again, posability is great. My only complaint is it feels a little discerning and like doesn't feel very comfortable to make this an army builder because it's got that deluxe $30 price tag. So unless you collect only Black Series and have deep pockets, then I say you should buy multiples of this. If not, then maybe 1 or 2. But my other problem with this figure is if you're going to give him the $30 price tag, he should have had maybe some extra parts. Maybe give him a part where he's on fire, like that one vintage collection one they did. I would have liked maybe some flame effects with this guy. Just little extra things that would have made me feel better about the purchase. But again, I still liked him a lot more than the price I paid, enough to put him at number 2. Now, getting into number 1, we have the Star Wars The Black Series General Grievous. Now, General Grievous is my number 1 favorite villain out of all of Star Wars, not counting Darth Vader, because like Darth Vader is everyone's favorite. But General Grievous, for me personally, is my favorite villain. And this figure, I know there's a lot higher quality like stuff I could pick from if I really wanted a really premium General Grievous figure, but this guy's affordable. He had a bigger, that $30, $35 price tag. He feels worth the price tag. He's got the 4 lightsabers, the blaster, the cape, the articulation, and the detail. Oh my gosh, I had a big smile on my face when I got this figure, and I was not disappointed at all. I am very satisfied with my purchase of the General Grievous. The only thing I have to critique is the cape does look a little bit wonky, especially around the neck area. It looks more like a scarf, and I feel like nowadays they would have handled it a little bit better. But I do love the idea how he can store his actual hilts inside the cape with the pockets and everything. But another thing I noticed is on the gray, General Grievous normally has this like black design thing that goes on his cape in the movie and in the shows, and I feel like he was missing that here. But it's nothing to split hairs over. So yeah, that is basically it for my entire list. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give me a like on the video. Comment down below what you guys think. If you guys agreed with my list, or you just have some comments to share, good or bad, let me know down in the comments. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. May the Force be with you, always.